Carl Llewellyn and Richard Dunwoody, 3 Grand National winning jockeys.
Yes, it's funny time in the weighing room now. You're just beginning to get your thoughts up together. The joking and the funny bits are over now. Mick just having a last drag on a cigarette there. Carl eating some energy food. And you really do just need to, I'd say, get your mind together, try and think what you're going to do, have your race plan all worked out. The jockeys will be wandering out into this paddock in a minute. It'll be absolutely packed with owners and trainers. One of the hardest tasks is actually trying to find your horse and find your connections. There is one of the horse, is Winter Bell, ridden by Chris Bonner, top class amateur with 3 rides round here.
His rides have been good. Chris is a tremendous amateur. He's finished 3rd, 4th and 14th in his 3 rides to date. Now that is a record that speaks for itself. But what about Winter Bell? This one has bits of form, acts well on soft ground, you know, and that's important.
Yes, and Howard Johnson's horses, Howard Johnson, who trains him, is yes, he hasn't had a lot of racing over the last couple of years. There is John Supple just having a chat to
and he's in the right frame of mind, Skew. He's relaxed, he's happy.
Well, you've got to be, haven't you? You've got to go out thinking positively, but you'd have to consider this as one of the outsiders.
Well, 200 to 1 was his price. That represents his chance. What a beautiful individual Scott and Banks is. Now that is a perfect horse. Lorcan Wire, he's one of the tough men of the weighing room. He's been buried in the turf many times. A new father recently and a very proud man. His wife Nora will be at home watching. 33 to 1, but this horse, I'm not sure about the ground, Skew. I think it's gone against him.
You're obviously right, Richard. He was a useful handicap chaser a couple of seasons ago, wasn't he? And he beat Barton Bank around here by 15 lengths in the Martel Chase. Very good form, but as you say, since then he's lost it, and I see nothing in his form to suggest that he's coming back so far.
Now here's one, Skew, you know better than anyone. He's won 2 nationals, the Scottish and the Welsh. Can he win the Martel?
Yes, you can, as I said, but he's a real character, a real laid-back character, isn't he? I mean, nothing bothers him too much. He always has blinkers on his head just to make him concentrate. And he's got Carl Llewellyn on his back to make him concentrate as well. So Carl has won on the horse. He's usually Tom Jenks' ride, but unfortunately Tom Jenks has broken his leg. We wish him all the best, and I know he's supporting the horse. He's 8 to 1 co-favourite now because of the rain. What do I think of his chances? I think he's got a great chance. I've been disappointed with his run since he ran at Chepstow, but there has been reasons for it. I think it was a little bit too short for him around Haydock last time, the time before that actually, and then he went back to Haydock, and I think we made a little bit too much use for him. Massively strong horse, isn't he? Extraordinary that he does go to the soft ground, because you'd think weighing that so heavy, I bet he's a very heavy horse, and you'd think he'd be sinking in the mud too far. But I mean, he did carry 11 stone 8 to win a Hennessy, and he made an appalling mistake with Graham Bradley, who did remarkably well to stay on him.
Get through the clouds here, a little bit of rain but not too bad. We're just sinking into the ground a tiny bit. Lord only knows what it's going to be like out on the course. Now I promised you we'd catch up with the connections of Joe White, because this is a fascinating story. The horse is running for Racing for Life, which is a charity that benefits racing in particular, and Eileen Rhodes, a lady here who I've been told to say is the oldest owner in the race, but you don't want me to say that, do you? You won this horse in a scratch card competition.
Yes, it's marvellous. I saw 3 horses. And I said to the newsagent, what does it mean? So he said, I'll give you a form, send it off to Littlewoods, and it'll go in the raffles. I thought, I'd like to lose.
And what was your interest in racing before today?
All the family's always been interested in racing, all our lives, yes.
So when Joe White was getting saddled up, did you say anything to him? Did you make any comment to the horse?
I said, you've got to win, Joe.
And what did he say? He hasn't been on a racecourse for a very long time. Why is he called Joe White?
I don't know. Do you know me?
It's something to do with Paul Carberry's father, apparently.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he knew a chap called Joe White, that's why.
Now, Bob Champion's here as well, who, of course, won the race on Alden Easy. Same colours are out there on Brave Highlander. Might bring back memories for you, Bob. Just explain a bit about the charity, though, and the reasons why you picked a horse.
Well, basically, as Mrs. Rose said, it was a charity scratch card, which we did last year, and 3 charities benefit from it. My Cancer Trust, the Bob Champion Cancer Trust, Sparks, and Riding for the Disabled. So they're 3 very good charities, and they've been supported very well, and the winning scratch card person is Mrs. Rose, and I hope she has a great day out.
I'll tell you what, Eileen, I think that's the best £1 stake you must ever have had. Good luck.
Yes, a lovely day. Marvellous. Lovely atmosphere.
Best of luck, thank you.
High above the skies, the helicopter shows the number of people who are looking around the paddock, trying to get that last little bit of inspiration as to what to back. Sam Lee has been a housewife's choice for some time. Richard Dunwoody, the most experienced rider in the race. This is his 13th appearance. He's won twice, placed 4. He's fallen and pulled up. So he known it all. Here they come.
Yes, there's Charlie Swan waving to us, Paul Holly, Andrew Thornton, Brian Story, John Supple, Dr. Turner. I don't think he's going to have a ride. Just wandering all through there, coming through now.
But this is a very tense
Jamie
moment.
Evans, the Australian.
He's tried to ride in it twice before, and
Chocolate Thornton. Terry Dumas looks a very serious young man. We saw him interviewed before. Philip Hyde.
Northern Lads jockey Rod Farron went through. Chris Bonner. There's Lorcan Wire again. Knows his way out. Richard Johnson with that camera on his helmet.
Policeman. He'll be escorting them in later on, I hope.
And Kenny Whelan went past just then. One of the tallest is Joe Tizard. There's Dean Gallagher. And that was Seamus Durack going through. They're well escorted. Richard Dunwoody, he knows this long walk. Simon McNeil got a bit of an iffy ride there. But this, of course, Stu, is what they want to do.
Richard Guest, he's been second in the race. He's a cool customer. Carl looks pretty serious for him. He knows he's got a great chance, just again trying to take it all in. Pretty difficult time for the jockeys going here. The punters all asking for autographs, etc., and it's a time when you're trying to get your mind on the race.
This is Richard Johnson's view, so very shortly we'll see the features of David Nicholson. Well, anyway, his jockey will see them, and Darren Mercer, of course.
That's right. You see the jockeys all wandering around. As I say, it's difficult to find your connections because there's so many people in the paddock, and then you get lost with your horse. Because you're in the middle there, you can't see where your horses are, and you can often end up walking in the wrong direction. But a happy looking Richard Johnson, that's Darren Mercer, that's his brother. They must be pretty wound up, although they've had some huge successes with horses. This would be the one.
Just seeing the angle of that camera, Skew, he'll want to keep his head down low, won't he, to give us the pictures we're after. Here is 15, Hymn of Praise, no blinkers today. Champion Charlie Swan from Ireland rides him. This is, of course, Charlie's 8th ride in the race. He's completed 5 times. He's fallen at the first, and he's fallen at Beecher's Brook.
We were having a chat about him earlier. Do you think he'll handle the ground?
Hymn of Praise, I do. Yes, I do. Although he does stop in front, they've left the blinkers off because it would get him buzzing too much, and that would make it difficult.
He's 8-1 the joint favourite now. I mean, the punters are getting a little bit confused with all this rain. They're going for the soft ground horses, quite rightly. I mean, this is a real stayer. He's won over 4 mile, and if he just adapts to the fences early, he hasn't had a great deal of experience, he's got a great chance.
Well, just here behind me are the Connections of Earth Summit now. Co-favourite of 3, we've got Carl Llewellyn getting instructions from Tom Jenks, who would have ridden the horse. Tom, tell him what to do.
I've absolutely no idea.
No idea what to do?
He said to go out and get drunk last night, but I didn't do that.
Very delighted.
Yeah. Well, best of luck. Have a good ride. Tom Jenks would have ridden the horse, but he's got a broken leg, so Carl Llewellyn takes over. Rather similar to when he took over on Party Politics.
Yeah,
Nigel Payne looking very, very worried there.
Carl looks the most relaxed of them. I mean, you've got to be a pretty brave man to be sort of joking about things like that when you're about to go and ride in this race.
Let's have a look at the market. Earth Summit 8-1, joint favourite with Hymn of Praise, but 9-1 Drifting is Rough Quest, 9-1 Suny Bay, the same price Sam Lee, then 12 Challenger to Look, 14 Northern Lad, Banjo at 16, Ciel de Brion, he'll have a chance at 20s, the same price Doonbell the Mare, and Killishin has come right down, rocketing down to 20-1 because of the ground.
But that's what's interesting. All those horses in that betting have won or liked soft ground. Challenger Luck may be the one exception.
Richard Johnson's eye view, he's looking ahead of him at Northern Lad. Will he be seeing that same backside as he comes up the run-in? Challenger to Look and AP McCoy, we've marvelled at this man this week. I wonder what will happen. This horse will either love it or he'll say no thank you.
I think with Mr. McCoy on his back, he's only got one choice. He'll have to enjoy it. I just wonder with this horse, he's been called an awful lot of names, and he is a very, very good horse. But do you think he perhaps doesn't quite get the trip over the 3 mile?
That could be the case, Stu, but surely he threw it away in the King George. I mean, he looked to do it all. I'd be worried about what he's done since, though. He didn't look happy at Wincanton, then he looked moody his last run.
Yes, you could be right. I think he perhaps doesn't quite get home over the 3 mile.
Skew, if this horse was as genuine as his owner, David Johnson, he would be a cert. Let's have a look at them as they start to leave the parade ring. It's getting serious now. This is one of the big things about this race, is the huge build-up. Joe White and Tim McCarthy.
Yes, Tim has had a ride. He was finished 9th in the National. Joe White is a winner once over hurdles, has been successful in 5 of his 55 outings over fences, 3 times a winner in the 1995-96 season. He has his first run today since pulling up in a 3-mile chase at Edinburgh in December. He's hard to fancy off that.
Ryder's having his second ride, Tim McCarthy. He's already finished 9th here in 1 ride round. Long walk here to thread their way through the tented village.
Yes, now I think this horse is the one I would worry most about for Earth Summit, Ciel de Brion, as usually to Beechers.
Skew, there are 2 greys in this. That's Diwali Dancer, the second of them. Martin Pipe trains. Ray Alford, a great friend of Martin's, just seeing that he was okay. Diwali Dancer, though, the trip is a huge worry for this one.
Yeah, he jumps pretty well, hasn't he? He won 3 chases early in the season. And Martin Pipe, multiple entries in this race, and with this soft ground, we've seen Foynehaven in the past. Who knows, if you don't compete, you can't win.
Robert Thornton, Chocolate Bob they call him, a young rider, good rider he is, and he's having his second ride. He fell at the 13th fence 12 months ago. It takes a while. They get them in 2 groups here in order to get them ready for the parade. A lot of horses would bubble over at this, but most of these are aged. Of course, they're aged handicappers, and they can take that sort of thing. There is Suny Bay, who was given that best turned out prize of £300 for Phil Sharp. Money will not be on his mind at this moment. They don't care about money. It's victory. See the horses come back. That's what lads are thinking about.
Absolutely. They spend all their lives with these horses. They're best of friends with them. They know every quirk about these horses, and they'll be very worried for their well-being.
It's a rather small challenge from Ireland this year. They've had 4 winners at the meeting, but this is the big one. And of course, Doon Bell, number 9, is the only mare in the race, and there she is, Tommy Tracy riding. The trip is a worry for her. She has been second, of course, to Doran's Pride. Second ride for Tommy Tracy. He fell at the 7th last year, the smallest fence on the course, but it's caught some people out. I wonder if she got over the worry she had a bit of mucus after a Haydock run and was not quite right, but I hope for Pat Fye that she's back on song.
The trainer has taken her away to work twice and believes she's right back to her best. There is number 10, General Crack, and to the left of him, Banjo, and that is Richard Johnson, who we've seen the camera already.
Yes, he won't be thinking about that, but this is the sort of thing that he is seeing. Challenger to look in his sights now, trying to keep out of each other's way. A lot of horses are being kicked in the past, milling around here. You have to keep your wits about you. Skew, at this time, do you think jockeys are actually thinking about their tactics?
Oh, definitely so. I mean, the most important point will be the start. Although this race is an extended 4 mile, unless you get out of the starting gate in a decent position, you've got no chance of winning.
The Gurkhas have got plenty of breath. I hope Graham Bradley has. Suny Bay 10-1, Charlie Brooks. Following him, Mick Fitzgerald, Rough Quest. After him, we've got Challenger to look. What will he do? McCoy is on board, though. He looks pretty relaxed at the moment. In fourth place is Scott and Banks, but he's 12-1 challenger to look. After him, we have Scott and Banks. Big, strong, powerful horse. 33-1. Lorcan, thumbs up to you too. Be lucky, come back safe. After him, the black and white colours of Richard Johnson for David Nicholson. Banjo, he's big, he's 16-1. Earth Summit's next. Blinkered, Carl Llewellyn. It's his 7th ride in the race. He's won it before. He's got his mind on the job. Northern Lad is in the spots or the stars of Jim Shaw. Rodney Farrant hasn't got round yet. Let's wish he does, hope he does today. Dunbell, Tommy Tracy, the only mare. Will she get the trip 18-1? The white Joe Tizard here, young rider, 2nd ride in the race, 40-1, General Crack. Go Universal hasn't run for over a year. Seamus Durack, he's up to the job, 66-1. Francois Duman's son Thierry has a big chance here, 20-1. He ran well in the Hennessy. Then the Diamonds are Timmy Murphy, Court Melody, Paul Nichols multi-handed today, 25-1. The Blue are Norman Williamson, Storm and Norman they call him, Celtic Abbey, not my fancy. The Yellow then of Charlie Swan, 8-1 joint favourite, Hymn of Praise, he'll see the trip out well. More Yellow, the oldest, the 14-year-old into the red. He's won over these fences, but I think he's past his sell-by date now. Chris Maud is next, good rider, having his 4th ride in the race. He fell at the first once, finished 5th and pulled up. Then the biggest head of anyone, Andrew Thought on St Melian Fairway. The horse has got the big head. Richard Dunwoody on Sam Lee. They've been backing him down to 17-2 now. JP McManus, give me 5. Kenny Whelan, can he keep those good looks for Silla? After him will be Green Hill Tearaway. Simon McNeil in the yellow colours, Green Star. Simon having his 6th ride. He's finished 6th, fallen, pulled up, unseated rider, brought down. He's got them all. He's got the set. Then is Yeoman Warrior Richard Guest, the Stripes of Chris Fleet's Pond House. I don't think he'll get round, doesn't stay. Brave Highlander, this is my fancy. Philip Hyde has the ride, Aldeneti's colours. Hill Walk and Rupert Wackley having his 1st ride in the race at 200-1. After him, Tim McCarthy, his 2nd ride in the race for Joe White. Joe White's got a bit to find. The next grey will be Diwali Dance. He set up a treble, but his last couple of runs were too good. Robert Thornton on board. After him, we've got Killishin. Sean Curran could land a great double. Remember, John Mannor's horse won the Fox Hunters Cavallero yesterday. Do Rightly, 100-1. This one bucks on the way to the post. Let's hope Paul Holly can stay with him. After him, we've got Fabricator and John Supple having his 1st ride, 150-1. The grey of Raymond Tooth, a divorced lawyer, John Kavanagh, is having his 3rd ride in the race. Radical Choice, Brian Story having his 3rd ride. This one is 66-1. Then after him, we'll see the Australian of Jamie Evans. He's tried to ride in this race twice, but has been ruled out with injury. 3rd time lucky, Jamie. Then the spots of Richard McGrath, another having his 1st ride. There are 8 of them who are making their debut. Choice D could go well. The Blue of Glenn Tormey having his 2nd ride. He rode Mugoni Beach last year, pulled up, 201. Chris Bonner, good ride, always got round. Winter Bell is his mount today. Gordon Shenkin is here just for the fun, 500-1, the Stone Outsider. Good luck, Gordon. And last but not least, we got Paul Carberry having his 4th ride. Fell 6th, 4th on buckboard bounce last year. This man is a horseman and a half. Very soon they'll get this sort of view as they cross the Melling Road. This is Richard Johnson as he goes down to the first skew. The next time that Richard Johnson sees this view, he'll be going a lot faster than this.
Yes, hopefully there'll be now pull up, show these horses the fence. There'll be a little bit of banter now between the jockeys and from the crowd to the side, left and right. He's having a look round, probably having a chat to Carl. Carl telling him it looks bigger than he remembers, I suspect, but you know, you're just breathing a sigh of relief. There'll be shouts, as I say, from the crowds down there. Come on, number 5. They'll be saying, we back Banjo, we want our money back.
Well, let's have a reminder of the betting as the jocks look at the first. 7's Earth Summit, 8's Hymn of Praise, 17-2 Sam Lee, 10's Drifting, Rough Quest, same price Suny Bay, Challenger Deluxe 12's, 14's Northern Lad, Banjo 16's, 18 and being back, the mare Dunbell for Ireland, Ciel de Brion at 20's, Killishin the same price, 25's Brave Highlander, Court Melody the same, and St Melian Fairway, Gimme 5 from Ireland, 33's Scott and Banks and Celtic Abbey. It is 40-1, bar those.
Yes, it's... So it's time to join our commentators for the race. John Hanmer, Tony O'Hare, and the racing correspondent of the Daily Telegraph, Jim McGrath.
Thanks, Des. The runners now are arriving at the starting point for the 151st running of the Martel Grand National. A total of 37 runners. Many of them, of course, still having a look at that first obstacle, the first of 30 fences. And those first three come up very, very quickly indeed. After this torrential rain we had earlier today, the skies are now clear. There are a few clouds in the background, but the sun breaking through. On the right of picture there, Fabricator. On the left is Pashto. And Graham Bradley has dismounted from Suny Bay. Graham Bradley having his 12th ride in the race. 37-year-old Graham Bradley. Suny Bay runner-up to Lord Galeen. And Graham Bradley is actually sitting on the ground. Sitting on the ground inside the rail. He's okay. Nothing wrong with him. He looks like he's just resting. He looks happy enough. Suny Bay, of course, has 12 stone to carry this afternoon, and with the starting time still a few minutes away, he's anxious to relieve as much weight as he can from Suny Bay, the top weight. There's Rough Quest, winner of the 96 Grand National, ridden by Mick Fitzgerald. He's one of only 3 riders in the race today who have previously won. He was successful on Rough Quest. Richard Dunwoody, of course, a dual winner. There's Graham Bradley, his 12th ride in the Grand National. He's been one of the most endurable and talented performers we've seen in the National Hunt ranks for many a year. And there is the course, and there's Challenger de Luck. Tony McCoy, he's out of the saddle as well, just some last minute adjustments. And there is the course, the biggest National Hunt course in the world, certainly the most famous. They'll be starting on the left of picture down the bottom, and they'll be continuing right up towards Beecher's Brook, which will be number 6. Tony O'Hare will be described too. So it's been a real reshuffle up the top. Rough Quest at 11-1, Suny Bay at 12-1, Challenger de Luck at 14s, Northern Lad 14-1, Banjo into 14s. Dunbell from Ireland, one of 2 Irish runners, 18-1. Ciel de Brion at 20-1 and Killishin at 20s, 25-1 bar. So Earth Summit, ridden by Carl Llewellyn, is the favourite for the Martel Grand National, and the 37 runners are circling down at the start. Pond House there with the noseband. There's Choisty, one of the outsiders, number 35. Richard McGrath, 21-year-old Richard McGrath, having his first ride in the race. There are 9 riders having their first experience of the Grand National. Not many horses expected to finish today. Sporting Index, the spread betting firm, are expecting around 9. Their spread was 8-10, and that has been backed in from 17-19 earlier in the week. So as you can see, the bookies are expecting few finishes from this very, very big field. Wonderful scene here at Aintree this afternoon. Huge crowd who have gone through a very tight security cordon to get into the course. And this is probably as much as they'll see of the... They'll probably see about 3 or 4 fences from the stands, but they'll be looking at the big screens in front of the stands and relying on that to see where the action, or how the action is unfolding. So it's not long now, the shouts from the crowds, they're starting to line up for the 1998 Martel Grand National. Coming up to the tapes now. Those near the inside are Killer Shin in company with Dunbell. Also there, Court Melody. Simon Moran is on his rostrum. He's telling them that he wants to have a very, very straight line.
Just settle down, all of you, please.
Asking them to just settle down. That's Earth Summit, the favourite, is right out the back of this stage. Rough Quest is also well behind with Griffin's Bar. So they're lining up. That's it. They're under orders and away they go in the Martel Grand National of 1998. And Scott and Banks down near the inside. The first to show from Go Universal. Up there too is Somalian Fairway, and Fabricator was slow away back towards the rear of the field. On the inside, the Cyborg is up there too, in company with Green Hill Tearaway from Dunbell. Pond House is wide around. Him of Praise there as well as they charge towards the first. At 30 fences, we join John Hanmer.
And Do Rightly, one of the leaders, with Him of Praise as they jump the first, and the leaders are over safely, but there are some on the floor towards the back, and we've lost there at the first. Banjo is one of them, and we've lost Diwali Dancer, and we've also lost What a Hand, and there's one more too as they come now to the open ditch in front of us here, and it's Do Rightly, CL de Briand, then Him of Praise is there with Green Hill Tearaway as they jump the third flight, and there's one down towards the back which is Fabricator as they go to the fourth, and Him of Praise and Green Hill Tearaway and Do Rightly are the leaders, and Do Rightly falls as we join Tony O'Hare.
Running now towards fence number 5, and Him of Praise up there on the outside with CL de Briand, and also prominent towards the inside is Desi Borg, and just behind these is Scott and Banks, and they're followed over it by Go Universal. St. Melian Fairway not far behind these as they come down now heading towards Beecher's Book. The faller there was Green Hill Tearaway up there disputing the lead with CL de Briand, and also Him of Praise. Desi Borg is on the inside, and also in the front line is Scott and Banks, and they're followed over Beechers by Pond House, and we've lost a couple there. Fallers at that Court Melody and Choice are down as they come on now towards the Foynaven fence, and it's Green Hill Tearaway the leader, Desi Borg in second, then Scott Banks, a mistake by CL de Briand, passed by Go Universal. St. Melian Fairway is next, then towards the outside is Him of Praise. They're followed by Pond House, and after these is Doon Bell, and then comes Nathan Ladd, and then Brave Highlander towards the inside ahead of Gimme 5. They're at the canal turn, and Green Hill Tearaway is the leader from Desi Borg in second, and they're followed over in third place by Scott and Banks, and then comes Go Universal, CL de Briand, then comes St. Melian Fairway all over the canal as they jump Valentine's. Green Hill Tearaway the leader from Desi Borg, Go Universal, Scott and Banks, St. Melian Fairway, CL de Briand as we rejoin John Hanmer.
And Desi Borg on the inside of Green Hill Tearaway, then Go Universal, Scott and Banks, CL de Briand, then comes Pond House and St. Melian Fairway. No fallers amongst the leaders anyway. Back markers just going over it as they go now to the next open ditch as Desi Borg and Green Hill Tearaway clear now of in third place. We have Go Universal, followed by CL de Briand, then Pond House, then comes Scott and Banks. They're followed by St. Melian Fairway, Gimme 5, Rough Quest and Maple Dancer as they jump the 12th. And Damas has refused, and still D. Cyborg and Green Hill Tearaway the leaders. Sam Lee's right at the back with Hill Walk. And General Crack has pulled up, and as they go across the Melling Road, it's Green Hill Tearaway from Desi Borg, then Go Universal, then comes Scott and Banks, CL de Briand, then St. Melian Fairway, Rough Quest, and then comes Earth Summit getting a first mention, and Brave Highlander as we join Jim McGrath.
Well, these two riders in front are having a ball. They're chatting to each other as they race around the home turn the first time. On the right of picture, it's Paul Carberry on to Cyborg, having his 4th Grand National ride. He's up there in company with Simon McNeil, the oldest jockey in the race, who's having his 6th on Green Hill Tearaway. Behind them as they race now towards the 13th fence is on the inside Scott and Banks, followed then by Go Universal. Then out wider is CL de Briand, then Earth Summit, who's coming into the picture as well, followed then by St. Melian Fairway as they jump the 13th. The leaders are over okay. Rough Quest is coming into it as well. Further back in the field behind Rough Quest at this stage we see Him of Praise, who's well back with Into the Red. The loose Loose Horses playing havoc out here in front as they come towards the 14th fence, and it's Greenhill Tearaway and a Cyborg joined by Ciel de Brion. The Loose Horses are now departed the scene, followed then by Scott and Banks, then follows Malian Fairway from Go Universal, Suny Bay moving up, then Brave Highlander in the centre, Earth Summit the near side, they're clear then of Rough Quest, followed by Yeoman Warrior as they come to the chair. Leaders jump it well back in the field behind Suny Bay is Rough Quest, followed then next in the field by Yeoman Warrior. They're followed by Gimme 5 as they race up towards the water. It's Ciel de Brion the leader from Greenhill Tearaway, Malian Fairway, then in fourth the Cyborg, followed by Earth Summit, Scott and Banks, Suny Bay. Behind them is at this stage Brave Highlander, followed then by Rough Quest, Yeoman Warrior, Hymn of Praise behind them from Gimme 5 as they round that corner. Joe White has been pulled up as they turn left-handed now. Pond House has also been pulled up. Sam Lee back in the ruck with Killishin. They're followed by Winter Bell, and well back in the Maple Bans has been pulled up as well. They're followed next in the field by Go Universal, who's lost ground. Well back is Into the Red, and the last of the pack at this stage is Radical Choice as they race across the Melling Road the second time. Hill Walk has been pulled up. Well, the leaders as they race over the Melling Road now. In the centre, Ciel de Brion, Greenhill Tearaway, Earth Summit and Malian Fairway as we rejoin John Hanmer.
And they're at the 17th now, and Greenhill Tearaway and Ciel de Brion from Earth Summit out wide, then Malian Fairway, de Cyborg, Scott and Banks, Brave Highlander, Rough Quest. Into the Red has been pulled up as they jump the 18th, and a bad mistake by Ciel de Brion and by Rough Quest, and the Go Universal's been pulled up, and it's Greenhill Tearaway, Ciel de Brion and Earth Summit from Malian Fairway in fourth place as they jump the next open ditch. The Radical Choice has been pulled up and going towards fence number 20. The stragglers going over that. Yeoman Warrior's been pulled up, and at the 20th it's Ciel de Brion back in front from Greenhill Tearaway, Earth Summit, as we rejoin Tony O'Hare.
And as they run down now towards Beeches Brook, one fence to jump before they reach it. Earth Summit out in the centre of the track, Ciel de Brion in the centre, Greenhill Tearaway towards the inside, a gap then of about 4 lengths to St. Malian Fairway, followed by Brave Highlander. Bad mistake there by St. Malian Fairway in fourth, but it's still Greenhill Tearaway the leader from Ciel de Brion. Earth Summit is third, they're clear from Suny Bay getting a bit closer. Then Brave Highlander, Winter Bell has been pulled up, St. Malian Fairway weakening. Rough Quest is about 6th at this stage, but at Beeches for the second time. Greenhill Tearaway leads from Ciel de Brion, Earth Summit, then Brave Highlander makes a mistake, passed by Suny Bay, a gap to St. Malian Fairway, then Rough Quest, Gimme 5, Desaborg, Scott and Banks, a long way back to Hymn of Praise, followed by Sam Lee and Killishin, and they're all that's left as they go to the Foynehaven fence. And it's Greenhill Tearaway from Ciel de Brion, Earth Summit close in third, Suny Bay taking the shortest route and moving right up to them on the rail. Then comes Brave Highlander, Rough Quest, the 1996 winner, runs 6th, the gap then to Gimme 5, going past the tiring St. Malian Fairway, Scott and Banks is next, then Desaborg, Hymn of Praise and Sam Lee, and Killishin is last. At the canal turn for the second time, Greenhill Tearaway, Ciel de Brion, Suny Bay the inside, a bad mistake by Brave Highlander as unshipped his rider as they go now towards Valentine's for the second and final time. It's Greenhill Tearaway, Ciel de Brion, Earth Summit and Suny Bay. They're the leaders, 5 clear of Rough Quest, followed by Gimme 5, a gap to St. Malian Fairway, followed over it by Scott and Banks, then Hymn of Praise. Behind Hymn of Praise is Sam Lee as we go back to John Hanmer.
And 5 to jump, Greenhill Tearaway with Earth Summit moving up smoothly to join him, then Suny Bay still going well, and Ciel de Brion's fallen when in fourth. Rough Quest is a distant fifth. Scott and Banks has fallen as they go to the last open ditch, which is 4 from home, and Earth Summit and Suny Bay have gone on together. Then Greenhill Tearaway very nearly refused and has gone. Rough Quest is a distant third, then Gimme 5 who'd made a bad mistake, then St. Malian Fairway, Hymn of Praise who's gone, and now with 3 to jump as they go towards it, it's Earth Summit and Suny Bay. They're very tired, these horses. They jump it well clear. Desi Borg's refused. Rough Quest and Gimme 5. Fairy Town in 3rd and 4th, and St Million Fairway, and Sam Lee, and I can't see anything else, but with 2 to jump in the Grand National, Suny Bay and Graham Bradley, the grey, and Carl Llewellyn on Earth Summit. They've got it between them as we join Jim McGrath.
Well, they race towards the turn now. They've got 2 fences left to jump in the Martel Grand National. It's going to be a real stamina test. It's Earth Summit on the near side, Carl Llewellyn, who won the race on Party Politics. On the right is Suny Bay, Graham Bradley, as they swing the corner now. 2 fences left to jump in the National. They've cleared right away. There's only 6 continuing on in the race now as they round that corner. As they race now towards the second last, it's Earth Summit, who's on the near side. On the far side, Suny Bay running a tremendous race under 12 stone. They've cleared right away as they come towards the second last. Gimme 5 has run into 3rd. They come to the second last now. Earth Summit led over it from Suny Bay. A gap of 35 lengths then to Gimme 5 from Sam Lee, Rough Quest and St Million Fairway, and they're the only ones continuing. They race towards the last fence in the Martel Grand National. It's Earth Summit who's gone 2 lengths in front. He comes to it and jumps it cleanly from Suny Bay, who's battling on gallantly in second. A long gap to Sam Lee, who's running on for a place. Rough Quest has been pulled up before the second last. They race towards the elbow in the Grand National. It's Earth Summit who's now pulling clear. He's gone 4 lengths in front of Suny Bay, the grey, who's battling on courageously under 12 stone. 50 lengths or so then to St Million Fairway. On the corner though, they straighten up for home. It's Earth Summit who's going to outstay them here in the Martel Grand National. Earth Summit, Carl Llewellyn, about 5 lengths in front and safely holding them all at bay. It's Earth Summit who's going to go on and win the 98 Grand National. Earth Summit up to the line, wins for Carl Llewellyn, wins it by 6 or 7 lengths. Second, Suny Bay, the most courageous of seconds. A long gap then of 25-30 lengths, maybe more, to Sam Lee, who's going to run on and just get 3rd. St Million Fairway is having a real battle with him for that 3rd place. Sam Lee, though, gets 3rd. In 4th is St Million Fairway. A gap then to Gimme 5. And still coming is Killer Shin, who's going to be the 6th and last horse to cross the line. The winner of the Martel Grand National of 1998 is Earth Summit, number 6, owned by the Summit Partnership, trained by Nigel Twiston Davis and ridden by Carl Llewellyn, 32-year-old Carl Llewellyn, his 2nd win of the race, having previously been successful on Party Politics. Second is number 1, Suny Bay, owned by Uplands Bloodstock, 2nd for the 2nd consecutive year, trained by Charlie Brooks and ridden by Graham Bradley. And 3rd is number 19, Sam Lee. Sam Lee, owned by the White Lion Partnership, trained by Philip Hobbs, ridden by Richard Dunwoody. And 4th is number 18, St Million Fairway, ridden by Andrew Thornton. 5th was Gimme 5 and 6th Killer Shin, and they were the only finishers in the 1998 Grand National. Carl Llewellyn has enjoyed the most exhilarating ride in this Grand National, which with the heavy rain on the day and prior to that has made this a real stamina test.
Can you get moving, please?
And there's like a lot of jump jockeys, Carl Llewellyn will be celebrating, I think, at the Mark Dwyer retirement dinner tonight in the north. And that'll be some scenes there. The Earth Summit